Hey guys, it's Alex here. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I'm looking at the broadcast now and it still looks a little bit blurry, which is not my favorite, but we're going to get into all the action. Hopefully my audio is still okay. It's Alex Wendling and sleepy boy Tom's over here. He already got the zoomies. We got them out. And they were very entertaining, but he hasn't been able to get rid of all his energy because it's been so rainy out, and he is a SoCal puppy. Even though he's from Chicago, he is a SoCal puppy and he doesn't like the rain. So that's just a little bit about Tom. But today I want to talk to you guys about something just as crazy as Tom. It was Combate 2023. Combate bringing back the OG tournament. Bringing back the OG tournament in MMA. 8 guys representing 8 different countries, battling it out all in one night for $100,000. Now, this is the first time Copa Combate did a little bit of a different setup. This is the first time the quarterfinals had 2 rounds versus just one. Usually it was quarterfinals, 1 round, semifinals, 1 round, final round, championship round, 3 rounds. But we thought that if we give them 2 rounds in the quarterfinals, we at least give them enough time to get them going. Also, it was cleared by the Florida Commission because they could do 6. The potential of getting into 6 rounds is okay and approved there. Whereas in other states, you might get the 25-minute maximum amount of fighting. So everything got approved. Everything went well. And guys, I jinxed it, I guess, in a good way. I said before the competition had started, I was like, I wonder what crazy things are going to happen tonight. Like I just want to know what crazy shit is going to happen. And everyone in the car is like, yeah, you never know. It's a tournament, like crazy stuff happens. Didn't think it was going to start out this crazy. We have a missing person literally off of our bracket. Sorry, I just saw this stream went out for a second. Hopefully we're still connecting. Hopefully we're still there. Power through Wi-Fi. But basically we had a missing person and we had to get an alternate come into our bracket. So if you guys look at this is now with the alternate Mauricio Eagles from Chile coming in and replacing our missing person, Marlon Gonzalez from Peru. It was at first considered very, serious. We weren't sure if he was just like not feeling well for the competition or, why wouldn't he tell anyone that he was dropping out? We thought it was something serious because we had seen him at the hotel earlier that day with all his stuff and we saw him leave with 2 guys and we were like, oh my gosh, where did he go with those people? Is he at the studio? And he never showed up. He later let someone internally know. Yay, thank you so much for the validation, my man Paj, because it is very hard to tell and also produce and also see if the Wi-Fi stream is still going. So sorry if it's blurry. Hopefully by the time this fully loads, it'll be not as bad, but thank you for joining. And I hope you caught some of the action this past weekend. Like I said, to start things off, we were thrown a curveball. One of our 8 fighters, not an alternate, but one of the 8 fighters in the tournament is missing the day of the fight. He weighed in, he did miss weight. And he went through all the things that he had to do to get to that point to decide that it was not going to be a fit for him. So here is President Campbell's reaction to this.
We still can't find the fighter. He's not in his hotel room. He's not here at the studio. He's not in the fighter backstage area. He's not answering his phone. Like, he could get $100,000 tonight. So, I'm rarely speechless. I don't know what to say. So he's out there somewhere. You're gonna have to check. I'll let you know what's happening. Because I honestly don't know what to say. How do you lose a fighter?
They're asking which country.
I don't want to say yet. I don't want to say which country yet. We'll come back to you. We're going to do another report in like 10 minutes. Should I call the police?
So as you guys saw, the CEO of the company going on Instagram Live, basically saying, hey, this guy has a chance to win 100K tonight. We have no idea where he is. Luckily, we had alternates ready to go. And when I talked to the alternates at the fight week, they were not overly confident that they were even going to get the chance to fight. I talked to Shaheen Santana, who is a 6'1", 75-inch reach featherweight, huge for the division. And then I talked to Mauricio Iglesias from Chile, who is a grappler. He was super excited to fight for himself. He was the lone fighter on the card that didn't have so much of a connection to his home country of Chile. He actually identifies more and feels more support from the Mexican side of the people. He ended up advancing to the semifinals, but it did not go his way. And probably the most viral knockout that we had that night came at his expense, unfortunately. Mauricio is a sweet guy, though, and he'll be back for sure. So let's look at this bracket now. So now the original lineup that we had from the get-go, Ramiro Jimenez versus Pablo Burgos. Boy, oh boy, did we not know that that was going to be as banging as it was. Testing, testing. Can you guys hear me? Hear me. Perfect. Sorry, I just checked with my computer, make sure you guys can hear me, because I'm not sure sometimes when I put videos up, I can't hear myself. All right, so this was banger of the night. Ramiro Jimenez versus Pablo Burgos. That's like the thing about being a striker in a tournament, is that you might go in there with the intention to get things done, get quick, get in and out, but you might not think about breaking your hand or becoming so bruised up that your eyes start to close. So that's why the strategy going into these one-night tournaments is so crazy. And I think it's the best option that you could have, because I know there are other tournament styles, like Bellator used to do tournaments where they would take a long time in between each match. This just gets it all out of the way in one night. Super, super crazy. And honestly, just chills the whole card. So then in the other quarterfinals, we had Alexander Schenk versus Mauricio Iglesias. I was so excited for this one because Alexander Schenk has a very right on. They had a great match. Alexander Schenk is a second-degree karate black belt, first-degree taekwondo background. He had an awesome performance in his last two fights. I think got close wins by decision. And he was coming out there ready to go, ready to support his family. He has a 1-year-old baby now. He wanted to buy a house, get a down payment for him and his family. Tom getting extra sleepy up in here. And, you know, Mauricio had the best strategy. He was able to control Alexander Schenk on the ground. The spinning case of Alexander Schenk and the striking department was definitely in his favor, but Mauricio weathered the storm and was able to get through all that. And then we go to the other side of the bracket where you'll find another heavy favorite. A lot of people were looking at Leonardo Chimi Morales and Nick as another favorite. And then who would have thought that Tommy Garcia would be our dark horse of the division? Now, Tommy Garcia is a highly decorated wrestler from the Dominican Republic. He came in with intentions of wrestling, but he was also just throwing haymakers because he wanted 100K. Now, Tommy Garcia, Tommy La Salsa Garcia, he is actually a 135-pounder, but because he couldn't get a fight situated for him soon enough, he was trying to call out all different types of bantamweights, David Martinez, and basically anyone in that division who could be a problem, showing that he was down to fight anyone. And you saw that especially in the semifinals when he has to take on the alternative, Shaheen Santana. We'll get to all that, but basically the size discrepancy you'll see, and you guys will go crazy about this. But first things first, let's go to this clip of me trying to use my Spanish.
I'm standing by with undefeated fighter Ramiro Jimenez, who will be competing in a one-night 8-man tournament tomorrow. Ramiro, cuéntame, ¿qué harías con $100,000?
Es una respuesta difícil de contestar, pero ya Navidad se está acercando, entonces es la próxima semana, así que va a haber buenos regalos para la familia.
Yeah, so on the broadcast, I said that Ramiro Jimenez was my favorite to win. He is 7-0. He is representing Mexicali, and his fight style is super entertaining. So he's not only, becoming one of the faces of Combate Global, he also has the talent to back it up. And I think his biggest competition in this bracket was Leonardo Chimi Morales, who has experience in the UFC, who was on the Ultimate Fighter, who's fought the likes of Yair Rodriguez. So going into this fight, the person that he was probably looking out most for was Chimi Morales. And he was on the opposite side of the bracket. It would have been Southpaw and Southpaw if those two had met in the middle. Little did we know that we would see even more crazy stuff after dealing with a missing person. So first crazy thing that happened is that we're missing a fighter the day of the fight. He was seen at the hotel the same day, and we have no idea where he is. It was like not 2 days later, and I'm like, hey, we still don't know where this guy is. And then we eventually heard that he was fine. Next crazy thing is Chimi Morales and Nico Barna have a fight. A great fight, but something we were anticipating. Nico Barna didn't show his aggression, didn't make Chimi respect him and his power at any point. So Chimi was able to toy with him a little bit, really outstrike him, and then control him when things did scramble to the ground. And he won that fight. But after he won his quarterfinal match, went the distance, which is 2 rounds in the quarterfinals, he is limping. And we're like, oh gosh, if he's limping in the cage, that's when you know. And I'm not saying I've had crazy injuries and stuff before, but when I hurt my LCL at my last jiu-jitsu competition, I felt it get sore, but I was still able to walk. So it turns out once we went backstage, Chimi Morales had torn his LCL, and that's the one that I had felt a capsule pop in. So it's your outer part of the knee, and he was distraught. Yes, Dolores is really hard for me to pronounce. I pronounce it like Dolores, like I'm American, and I have to go Dolores. But thank you, Mr. Lopez. I'm trying. What's up, Josiah? An OG subscriber of mine. Crazy to see that we are now getting into Combate Global territory. It used to be all different types of martial arts that I would cover. Now it's specifically Latina MMA. So what's better than MMA? Latina MMA. But anyway, now we're talking about Latino MMA with the Copa Combate featherweights, 100K on the line, and Chimi Morales was told by the doctors that he cannot continue, which shakes things up in this bracket. So now Leonardo Morales, who is advancing to the semifinals, can't continue. And who's going to be his replacement? There was discussions on whether we were going to do like a lucky loser, have the lucky loser come back, or we have another alternative. So Mauricio was the first alternative that got chosen when Marlon Gonzalez, the missing fighter, was not present. Now we move on to Shaheen Santana, the 6'1", 75-inch reach guy that now hasn't gone through a quarterfinals. He is fresh. He is going to be going up against Tommy Garcia, who got away with a pretty nice knockout. Some people thought it was pretty premature against Manuel Exposito. But now he's going up against someone who's already had their gas tank pushed a little bit, and he's coming in fresh. So all of these highlights that I'm showing you are also on Combate Global's TikTok. If you guys want to help me and save my life, go to Combate Global on TikTok and give them a follow. Also, there's 11 people in this group chat right now. We need 11 likes on this video so it pushes it out to people who might be interested in this content. So if you're here, smash that like button unless you hate this content, because I would like to know that too. Leave me a comment in the live chat too, and I'll try to figure out how we can make this content more interesting for you. But first things first, let's. This is a highlight of Tommy Garcia. So that cage side highlight shot by Fernanda Garcia, who works at Combate Global with me. She does amazing work there, and she captured the moment where Ramiro Jimenez answers the single leg attempt with a Kimura grip, gets it from bottom side, and is able to finish. Again, very, very impressive stuff. Not taking anything away from Ramiro, but Tommy Garcia really came out with crazy intention, wanting to win, and he's coming in as the smaller guy in the division. So the fact that he made it, he was the true dark horse. There was a little bit of a debate also how Tommy Garcia had gotten there, just because in the fight against Shaheen Santana, Shaheen had gotten him into a crucifix position and he was hitting the back of the head, but the referee gave him a warning and he kind of moved his the way in which he was striking, but not completely off the back of the head. The commission said, hey, that's a DQ. So Tommy Garcia heads to the finals. What did you guys think about that call? I know that one was like up for debate for a lot of people. What's up, Vinny Talks? How you doing, homie? We're just now getting to the finals of this event. It was crazy. Working alongside Jimmy Smith is like a freaking dream to me. A freaking dream. It was so fun. I hope you guys get to watch the full broadcast. Let me give you a breakdown of Ramiro Jimenez's journey from quarterfinals to the finals with this little edit.
Soy un hombre muy honrado que me gusta lo mejor. A mujeres no me falta ni el dinero ni el amor. Jineteando en mi caballo por la sierra yo me voy. Las estrellas y la luna ellas me dicen dónde voy. Ay, 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 ay. Me gusta
100% a very dope song, like you said, Mr. Lopez. So yeah, as you guys saw, he went to war in his first matchup with Pablo Burgos, who could have easily taken that fight if he had a little bit more stamina towards the end there and got a little bit higher volume on the feet. It was a close match, don't get me wrong, but a lot of people were trying to say that the Chilean Pablo Burgos deserved to get that nod. I don't know, man. Ramiro Jimenez, he really showed his gas tank, but that first round was actually crazy. If you guys are going to go back and watch any fights, watch that one. That one was insane. And then as you saw, Mauricio gets laid out and completely knocked out. He was down for a while, bleeding from his nose. And that's what happens when a grappler isn't doing enough pressing and forcing his own striking abilities against his opponent. If he's only just going to shoot for a takedown, a crazy knee could come or a head kick straight to the temple like it did. And that, yes, Josiah, that was a mean ass head kick, but classic grappler versus striker. And it was only one round. So Mauricio only had to survive one round, potentially do what he did to his last opponent, Alexander Schenk, and hold his opponent. And that's kind of the safer route to go in these tournaments. If you're a wrestler and you can hold and control your guy, you can get away with damage. You can get away without damage. You can control your fighter and basically win in a not super entertaining way. So I'm glad no one did that. Ramiro kept it interesting. And after all the drama with Chimmy Morales not being able to compete in the next round, that brought Shaheen Santana to the semifinals. Tommy Garcia beats him by DQ. And then in the finals, we have 3 rounds to go, and Ramiro Jimenez beats Tommy Garcia in the first round by Kimura. And that was just classic, it wasn't just the size discrepancy that helped him there. It was the technicalities of it. After Ramiro Jimenez got that Kimura finish, his coach, Coach Ellie, gave him his purple belt back in Mexicali. And now he has a purple belt at 24, $100K in the bank, and a great story to tell and a big future in Combate Global. So that wasn't the only action that happened this weekend. If you guys have a favorite fight, let me know in the chat. And while you guys do that, I will tell you that we also had CG84, Ireland versus Mexico, the return of La Loba. So let me give you guys a quick look at some of the fighters we saw on Sunday, December 17th. Alongside of that, don't forget to smash that like button. We got 9 people in here. We should have at least 9 likes. unless you hate this content, then you don't have to like. But if you do, make sure you like it so we get this content pushed to the right people. Now on to Ireland versus Mexico. So I was able to completely not watch any UFC this past weekend. I did, and I tried to just go to UFC Fight Pass now and watch some of the fights from this past weekend, and I haven't gotten to catch them still, but I did hear a lot of great things about that Irene Aldana fight. Wow. So these fights were broadcasted on Paramount Plus, also VIX Plus, and Azteca Sports. So if you're in Mexico, you can watch it there. But Paramount Plus was our partner for this upcoming year, and you can find maybe not all of the events from this past year, but some of the events still on Paramount Plus. Combate Global. All right, so I just showed you guys some of the fighters from this past weekend. We had La Loba taking on Manuela Marconetto. And that was definitely a fight of the night for the ladies. I mean, that was my pick for fight of the night. A lot of other people thought Lee Hammond versus Ivan Choco Castillo was the fight of the night. And that one was also pretty crazy. Ivan Choco Castillo survived all these crazy submission attempts, comes back and grounds and pounds his black belt Irishman opponent out. So Ivan Choco Castillo, representing Mexico, is an absolute tank. He has more fights than his own age. I think he has 41 fights now. He's 33 years old, nonstop. I told a story on the broadcast about how he came into a professional fight overweight, and his bread and butter is ground and pound. So to make things even, they said, all right, you can compete overweight, but you're not going to be able to ground and pound. So he goes into the fight. He tries to gets kneed in the face, broken nose. He immediately knows it's broken. He doesn't have enough money for the surgery. So all the fighters in Ensenada get together and they put enough money so that he can get the surgery, but they don't have enough money for the anesthesia. So he had broken nose surgery with no anesthesia, just holding the hands of his teammates, helping him get through it. So Ivan Choco Castillo, he can get through some pain. I know I have a Spanish speaker in here. Mucho dolor, is that correct? Pain is dolor, right? But yeah, crazy story. Not super crazy that he was able to get back after being almost choked out, almost had his arm broken. He was able to escape all that, come back with a win. Yes, crazy story, Mr. Lopez. And he says, sí, dolor es correcto. Yo necesito practicar más. Es muy importante para mi trabajo. All right, guys, I'm going to show you. Interesting rule for coming in overweight. I mean, anything can happen these days, I guess. I mean, I don't know that. I mean, obviously that fight wasn't in the United States. I don't think that would pass. But yeah, what an interesting rule to change las reglas. Está en un chingo de dolor. Of pain. What's chingo mean again? Anyways, I should know that. But guys, let me show you the La Loba knockout because she was hungry for this and her opponent was no joke at all. Manuela Marconetto, she was the only non-Irish fighter on the Ireland side, but Mexico, La Loba got Mexico on the scoring board, even though she technically wasn't fighting an Irish person. Crazy stuff. La Loba getting it done with flying colors. She was so proud of herself. She did a lot of different training than she usually does, really focusing more on jiu-jitsu, but she didn't need that tonight because her boxing was on point, going to the body, stops Manuela Marconetto in the second round. So yeah, crazy nights of fights. I just wanted to connect with you guys because I said I was going to do this video. It's slang, basically like saying he's in a shit ton of pain. Está en un chingo de dolor. I love that. Mr. Lopez, we need to talk more. We need to. Guys, I just want to say thank you so much for supporting this channel. Let me know if there's any specific topics that you guys want to talk about next. I know Flow Grappling, if you're a jiu-jitsu nerd, they're going to be having their end of the year awards. So I do want to talk about some of the nominees they have. Combate Global obviously just had the biggest weekend of the year. So if you guys can go back and watch the Paramount Plus broadcast, let me know if you have any critiques for me, anything that can be done better in the future. And of course, most importantly, check us out on Snapchat, which is combate_global. You can talk to me directly there. Also, we have Combate Global on TikTok. Just the words Combate Global, and we are on the road to 200K. It would mean the world to me for me to get to 200K before the new year, but you know, I'm not gonna get my hopes up too high until you guys start helping a sister out. So thank you guys so much. Josiah Perez, you are an OG. Mr. Lopez, you are becoming an OG of my page as well. So I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you at the next live stream that we do. Say bye, Tom. He's a sleepy boy. He's cranky because it's been rainy all day. All right. Love y'all. Bye.